d4. Queen's pawn opening, opening line. The queen's pawn opening move is somewhat slower than the popular e4 because white will not be able to castle for 3 more moves. Its advantage is that it gives white more control over tactical surprises and often provides more lasting initiative and pressure. d5. Opening line. Black answers symmetrically, challenging the center directly. Knight f3. Grunfeld reversed, opening line. A solid opening move, delaying c2, c4 to avoid the queen's gambit. Knight f6. Grunfeld reversed, symmetrical variation, opening line. This is one of those ultimately flexible positions where little is ruled out, and almost any attack defense may be yet employed. Queen's gambit, Colley system, Catalan system. Bishop f4. Grunfeld reversed, London system, opening line. e6. Grunfeld reversed, London system, opening line. Knight b, d2. Grunfeld reversed, London system, opening line. Bishop d6. Grunfeld reversed, London system, opening line. Bishop g5. Out of opening book. Bishop takes d6. Would have been in the Grunfeld reversed, London system, book opening. Moves it to safety and pins black's knight at f6. h6. Attack. Bishop h4. Moves it to safety. c5. e3. Knight c6. c3. Castle kingside. Bishop b5. Enables the short castle. Queen b6. Frees the pin on black's knight at f6 and attacks white's bishop at b5. a4. Protects white's bishop at b5. c takes d4. e takes d4. White wins a pawn for a pawn. Material is even. Knight h5. Castle kingside. a6. Attacks white's bishop at b5. Bishop takes c6. b takes c6. Black wins a bishop for a knight. Material is even. Knight e5. Attacks black's knight and blocks black's pawn at e6. Knight f4. Moves it to safety. Bishop g3. Threatens black's knight. Bishop takes e5. Protects black's knight. d takes e5. Attacks black's knight. White wins a bishop for a knight. Material is even. Knight g6. Moves it to safety. b4. Moves it out of harm's way. a5. b takes a5. Attacks black's queen and creates passed pawns on a5 and a4. Queen takes a5. Threatens white's pawn at c3 and blocks white's pawn at a4. Black wins a pawn for a pawn. Material is even. Queen c2. Removes the threat on white's pawn at c3. c5. Knight b3. attacks black's queen. Queen c7, moves it to safety. f4. Bishop d7. f5, attacks black's knight. E takes f5, removes the threat on black's knight and isolates white's pawn at e5. Black wins a pawn. Black is up a pawn in material. e6. Triple forks black's bishop, black's queen, and black's pawn at f5. f4. Moves it out of immediate jeopardy, protects black's queen, and threatens white's bishop. E takes f7, check. Removes the threat on white's bishop, forks black's king, and black's knight, adds a promote threat at f7, and creates a passed pawn on f7. King takes f7. Removes the threat on black's knight and removes the promote threat at f7. Bishop f2. Rook takes a4. Knight takes c5, threatens black's rook at a4 and isolates black's pawn at d5. Rook takes a1. Rook takes a1. White wins a rook and 2 pawns for a rook and 2 pawns. Black is ahead by a pawn in material. Knight e7. Queen e2. Bishop f5. Bishop d4, blocks black's pawn at d5. Knight c6. Queen f3, attacks black's pawn at d5 and blocks black's pawn at f4. Queen d6, removes the threat on black's pawn at d5. Knight b7, threatens black's queen. Queen e6, moves it to safety and takes control of the open file. Queen takes f4, pins black's bishop. White wins a pawn. Material is even. King g8, releases the pin on black's bishop. Knight c5, attacks black's queen. Queen g6, moves it to safety. Rook f1. Rook f7. Queen g3. The game ends in a draw. Queen g3. The game ends in a draw.